thoughts on Season 6 as a whole. You know, there's a lot of stuff this season. There's a lot of stuff. Everything from Illari coming out, the campaign missions, the new training range, balance, cinematics. There was the Sojourn cinematic, Hero Mastery at mid-season, the new game mode with 2 new maps of it. There's a lot to kind of jump into, and I think there's a little bit of something for everybody. I mean, we can go off number 1, the first one, and I think arguably the biggest one, bigger than the campaign PvE, is Illari. You want my take on what Illari is? I think Illari is if Anna came out today, this would be the character. If Anna came out today, Illari is like the Anna of Overwatch 2. They're very similar in a lot of ways. They're really, 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 really fun to play. They feel good. They feel like they have a lot to their kit. Now, a lot of people say Illari's broken. And honestly, I agree on one part, the turret. The only thing I think is a little broken is this thing. Just because you can leave it AFK, that's the only part I would probably tune back. Even things like her ultimate, which I thought felt much stronger when I tested it, there's a lot of counters to it. There's Diva Defense Matrix, Genji Reflect, Suzu, Bubble. You know, even like after you hit them with the sun, you still have to do the follow-up damage. Like if you don't do the follow-up damage, you don't actually secure a lot of the kills, you know? It's actually less broken than I thought it would be, which is a really good thing. But if you look at someone like Ana, right? Like if you saw Ana come out today, she has a cooldown that is a hard CC that puts you to sleep for 5 seconds, turns off your ult, the ability to turn off the ability to get healed. She does like pretty good damage, 70 bullets or 70 damage a shot, 70 damage. This is after the nerfs. 70 damage per. 70 healing per shot. The nade heals your teammates, and then her ultimate gives the person 50% damage increase and 50% damage reduction. I think if Ana came out today, people would say, holy hell, that is a broken character. But that doesn't mean it still shouldn't be in the game, and it still shouldn't be fun. I think Illari is probably the best character they've released in Overwatch 2. Better than Sojourn, better than Kiri, better than Ramatra, and definitely better than Lifeweaver. So, is she gonna probably end up being strong and need to be turned back later? Probably. Is it still okay for right now? Yeah, I think it's okay. I think it's fine. Forgot about Junker Queen. True, I did forget about Junker Queen. Junker Queen was so strong when she released, but I'd say overall, Illari just has such a good kit. She's so much fun to play. She feels so fluid. I think it's a really good addition to the game, for sure. So I think Illari is by far probably the best thing they added this season. Overall, amazing character design, super fun. Doesn't feel too cheesy even when you die to her. The only thing that feels cheesy to me is the turret. Like this, basically just leaving it around the corner and letting it just AFK heal. This is the only part that I would probably complain about. And part of it's shield, and you can also do like this little cheeky tech where, let's say you have it on the corner here and they start pushing into you. The cooldown's already off, you can just immediately reset it around the next corner as long as it doesn't take damage, and so you just have constant uptime. It's basically a small Mercy pocket, right? Because it does 40 healing per burst every 0.8 seconds. Mercy's healing is 55 healing per second. It's kind of close. It's like a mini Mercy. So, you know, I don't think Mercy should be taking that big of an L in that department then at that point. Regardless though, Illari, big W. Very good character addition. If you haven't played her yet, I would. She's very fun. The PvE campaign. I'll be honest, it wasn't what I expected. I was hoping that the really difficult part, legendary missions, were gonna be like almost Call of Duty Zombies style, in which it was like larger hordes of enemies, as well as like they have new cool abilities or like things you have to like look for, like certain mechanics that you have to play off of, not just larger health pools. Unfortunately, the campaign has much larger health pools. That being said, I had a fucking great time. I had a lot of fun. I enjoyed it thoroughly. We spent 3 days. Me, Karq, Seagull, and Emong spent 3 days trying to beat the Toronto mission on Legendary. And yeah, it was frustrating because there was a bug where the slicers could get stuck in the wall. And yeah, it was frustrating because there were certain times we didn't know what we were doing wrong. But at the end, we felt a great sense of accomplishment when we finished it. And I think that's a really good sense of game design of like, hey, you know what? We made this to the point where it was hard, but at the end you felt like accomplished. You felt like you had a good time with it. And that's not even the best part of it. The best part of the campaign by far is the story. The story by far is the best part. The cutscenes, the lore that comes with it, the joy I felt when I opened the screen originally to hear Winston talking.
That's excellent news. But Null Sector won't be taken down so easily. This war is just getting started.
And then as you got into the screen, there was a peanut butter jar here. And as you complete missions, more things appeared. There's all these storylines, these chat logs. And on the opposite side over here, I haven't even finished them all. But you have to go through and complete characters on certain missions, like beat the Liberation with Reinhardt to unlock that piece of lore. And Zarya on Liberation to unlock that piece of lore. And Pharah on Liberation, and stuff like that. And be able to have some replayability to find out more stuff. I don't think that overall it was bad at all. I think it was a lot of good that was brought to it. And the Overwatch team over the years has shown with their cinematics that they are super good at telling stories, and the cutscenes are by far the best part of it. It makes you feel more connected to the universe. It makes you understand characters a little bit deeper. And I think it just brings the game to life a little bit more. Is it what the original PvE that was promised? No, not even close. We all know that. And to be honest with you, myself and I think many others are tired of just beating that dead horse. Yeah, it wasn't what we were promised. Does that mean we're not allowed to enjoy what we were still given? I would answer no. You should still be allowed to enjoy something that was given, even if it wasn't what the original thing was. And I still think it was fun to play. And I think that if you played it, it might be fun too. So, if you didn't want to play it though, I would highly recommend either finding somewhere on YouTube or whatever where all the cutscenes were, because the cutscenes are definitely worth the watch. It's where Overwatch shines and does really, really, really well.
I'll never miss my mark.
Next up, I would probably talk about the Flashpoint new game mode. I've heard some complaints about the new game mode being a lot of walking. It just kind of feels like you're just constantly running to the next point. But it also doesn't feel bad. You're not stuck on any point for too long, because the way the capture percentage works is it goes up much faster than control point. So you only end up getting 2 or 3 fights, mostly 2 fights, 3 if you really, really do well with it, per point, and it's first to 3. And you're constantly spawning around different points of the map. You have 2 different spawn points that you could get. The enemy has 2 spawn points that they could get. You're constantly being shifted around. You don't know where you're going to be at any time. You just get these random scrappy fights in like the back alley somewhere where you get like a 1v3 or 2v3, and then you realize you're fighting and they're capturing the point on the other side of the map, and everybody's just gonna haul ass to run over there. And it brings a different level of the game that we haven't experienced. It's like a crossover between like deathmatch of Control while also having the game sense of awareness of something like Escort, where you constantly have to be playing the objective. Because yeah, you can get a bunch of kills, you know, running around and finding them, but if they beat you to point and they set up first, it's a lot harder to take it back. So, is the game mode perfect? No. Do I think it's a million times better than when Push was released? Oh yeah. Push, it felt like got jammed down our throat in a lot of ways. You were playing it every other game, no matter what, and it was like, yeah, they were probably trying to get a testing to figure out, like, do people enjoy Push? But because they did that and they forced it down your throat so much, it really made the game mode unplayable or unfun. And on Push, it was just difficult to digest. I don't think that this game mode feels that way. I enjoy it. I think it's nice. I think there's going to be definitely a meta that develops where you need to have like Lucio to speed around, or you know, where you're like trying to die instantly after you capture like a point so that you get a better spawn. But regardless though, I think it's a really good addition, for sure. To talk about the new lore that came out, there was the cinematic for Sojourn. It was only available in game for a bit, but now it's on YouTube. I don't think there has to be a lot said here. The cinematics are always insane. Actually, I'm surprised this only has 55k views. Probably because it was released in-game and most people saw it in-game, so it was very quietly released on YouTube like much later. But the Sojourn cinematic building up to Season 6 was phenomenal. And if you haven't seen the origin story of Illari, it's really sad.
FOW2.
It's really, really sad. It's such a sad story, but it was like, it just shows that they're so good at telling stories in this game. If you haven't watched those, I definitely recommend giving those a watch. That's the audio description. Actual version is 500K. Wait, what? Oh, you're right. I'm blind. Here it is. Oh, it's the... Oh, okay. Wait, I didn't even know this was a thing. Oh, that's pretty cool. Alright, so it's 500K. Okay, never mind. Anyways, though, cinematics really, really good. Balance I'll talk about in a second. There's a new firing range, which I'm in right now, the new training range. There's a lot of additions where they added things like these things, which are like ults. You walk over them and you get your ult. There's new bot placements. You can change out the bots for these tank bots. You can change out certain ones like these ones to rocket bots, in which they do much more damage. I use these in my testing of Illari. New tank bot added over here. You can change these bots as teams to make them friendly from enemies. And then arguably probably the biggest change is the actual firing range over here in the corner. And it might not look like a ton. You can change your hero here. But over here is all these settings that you can add. And you can make it the bullseyes, which I'm just going to leave it on really fast just to show you what the bullseyes look like. They're literally just targets, like as if you're playing an aim trainer. You can have these targets. You can set different ranges for them, 20 meters, 30 meters, 40 meters. You can also change them to bots. And you can have them do erratic things. Like, I'll show you really fast. This one I thought was very fascinating. Was that you could change the training bots, put them on long, and then you can do player strafe. And watch this. This is crazy. It tries to oh, wrong button. It tries to emulate player movements. So the bots just jump around and make these really erratic different movements that players would be making in game, whether they're jumps, whether they're like strafing back and forth, widow grappling, like whatever it might be. They tried to emulate in some ways what would be player movement, not just shooting bots, because unfortunately in the day, just shooting stationary bots in the training range does not improve your aim. I speak from experience. So the training range is really cool. It's a nice little addition to the game. Definitely brings it in a little bit more into the 21st century of gaming, because it did feel kind of old. And I say 21st century, I know it's not 21st century, but modern gaming versus when the training range originally came out in 2016 with original Overwatch. It feels like it's kind of caught up in a lot of ways to like Valorant and other, Apex and other AAA FPS titles. Is there more that probably added? Sure. There's also like the custom game mode where it has like a better training range and stuff like that probably could have been implemented, but I also think they wanted to keep it somewhat simple. So I like the training range. It's a nice changes. My only complaint about the training range is this guy. I miss him. Did they bring him back? I can't tell you how many times I walk over here and I look to the left and he's gone. I come over here, you know exactly what I do. 1, 2, 3, 4. And I look to the left and he's gone. He's gone. They took him away. Maybe I'm missing something. But the last thing I think to talk about is probably balance. And I think there's probably one thing that I would arguably want to talk about at some point. I don't want to right now. Is that healing numbers are getting really kind of jacked up, considering that Lifeweaver Tree is literally old Brig Rally at this point. But going through a lot of these changes, it feels kind of good in game. The game feels pretty balanced. It's hard to kill things though, which I would argue is better than instantly dying. Because remember back in Season 3, everybody was talking about the double sniper Widow meta? And we had two metas. You had the Rhine meta, like your Mei cast Rhine, and then you had your like poke Widow metas, and everyone hated dying to the one-shots constantly. So I would rather have really tanky sustained fights than one-shots, but I hope there's a way we can have a balance in between the two. But right now, at least, for like this exact moment, I've played a lot of Overwatch in this week. I've played more Overwatch this week, I think, than I've played in the last 2 months. I streamed the first 2 days, 15 hours and 16 hours. And then I did another, the day after that, I kind of crashed. I only did like a 5-hour stream because I was so tired, or 6-hour stream. And then I did another 8 and then another 10 back to back. And I can tell you from all that playtime, the game feels pretty good. I will say one thing I don't like, this Hanzo change. That's 7 years of muscle memory. I don't like the Hanzo change. I don't even play that much Hanzo. It just feels weird to have it changed because you're so used to pulling it and then climbing up. It was like kind of like a skill, at least to me. I don't like that change. But regardless, though, there's definitely some conflicting opinions. Bastion's really strong, but like I wouldn't say he's taken over. Like he feels really strong, but I wouldn't say he's like dominating. A lot of the tanks feel pretty good. Doomfist feels really good, in particular, just fun to play. Diva feels really good. Orisa feels pretty good. Ramatra is still really strong. I just played ranked last night and I went like 4-1 dominating on Ramatra. I haven't played much Sigma. Winston feels really good. I actually like this change to Winston after playing it. It feels good. It lets me have that little bit of impactful burst when I need it. There's actually a lot of these changes that have aged well. And so, is balance perfect? No, but it never will be. We'll always disagree on balance no matter what. Everyone will, because everyone's going to have stuff that they disagree with. So, am I missing anything? Is there anything else in Season 6 that I missed? There's the PvE missions. Oh, there's the single mission, the PvE mission. Oh, hero progression. Oh my god! I almost forgot! You're right. Hero progression. Oh my god, hero progression. This is such a nice addition to the game. The hero progression stuff is so cool. You see I'm level 11 on Ryan, but I don't have like any kills or anything. It's because it was all from the PvE missions. The PvE campaign missions counted as part of the hero mastery, and it's been leveling up slowly. I don't know anyone that's gotten really high level yet on anything, but it's really cool. After each game, you have certain things that you can kind of keep track of, and it's a little bit in human nature, but humans just like to watch numbers go up. That's just kind of how it goes, and it feels satisfying to feel like you're making progress just by playing the game, you know? I think you end up, like, if you get really high on certain ones, I think you can get, like, titles. Correct me if I'm wrong. I think leveling up the heroes gives you Battle Pass XP too. Is that true? I'm not sure if that's true or not. But it's not even just that. You do get a title. Okay, so you do get titles as you level them up. And you also level up each role. So, like, I've been playing more DPS just because I've been queuing all roles in quick play. And then I have, like, decent tank one. Support I haven't done that much because me queuing support right now is really difficult because everyone wants to play Illari. And I'm not really a support player, so, like, I'll let people have their fun. I let Seagull play it. I let Emong play it. Karki play it. You know, Somnus, whoever I'm playing with. I'll let them play the support characters. Let them have their fun. Yeah, you get title cards and icons just for leveling this stuff up. And I'm also apparently level 66 already on it, which is, unless that's Battle Pass level, I think that's probably hero progression level combined. And it just kind of feels like Overwatch 1 in some ways. You feel like you're making progress. You feel like you're kind of working towards something little by little. Yeah, it's not like, oh, I'm working towards this massive goal, but every day you chip away at it a little bit more. And let's say in about 6 months from now, I go from level 11 on Rhine to 150, and then these all change from bronze to maybe gold, like emblems, and it's like, people will look at your profile and go, wow, that guy's really good at Rhine, or wow, he's got a lot of mastery on Rhine, plays a lot of Rhine, you know? Yeah, it's just cool, fun stuff. I think it's a really nice addition to the game. The event's been pretty good. A lot of the challenges are fun. This Brig one, I want to get this Brig skin. I like this Brig skin a lot, but we have to wait till some of the other ones unlock. We've been grinding them out. We got the free mission stuff done, going around finding the hidden loot, like not hidden loot, hidden lore, stuff like that. They added a lot of cool stuff. I think it's fair to say that Overwatch has a lot in the past, and things are, you know, it's very clearly people have been upset, myself included, and I still stand by a lot of it, very rightfully so. But this is, and truly feels like the first season where all of our complaints and all of our things as a collective community, both as creators, publicly and behind the scenes, as well as people who play the game actively calling for changes, I've finally seen some of them implemented. Even in small things like drops, the drops that are happening right now, we were calling back in January to stop reusing and making shitty drops. You know, it was like that, like, watch 6 hours for Wrecking Ball souvenir loop, like it was like a toolbox. It's like, dude, that's shit. Nobody cares about that. And what did they do this season? It's a Torbjorn skin that used to be in the shop. You know, it's like, these are like small things that people have been asking for a long time. And like, hey, like, you know, we want to feel rewarded as players. We want to feel the game to be good. Everybody's in this shit together. We all want the game to be good. And yeah, it's hard to look past a lot of the old bullshit because, quite frankly, it's still very valid.
Smile.
But I'm not someone who's going to be vindictive and sit here and never change my opinion. Because as the information changes, I change. And I think this is probably the best season of Overwatch 2 we've had yet. And that would include the launch date. This arguably has more content than launch Overwatch 2 had. So if you haven't played Overwatch, or you stepped away from the game for a while, I would highly encourage you to at least give this season a chance and play it. Because if you do enjoy it, you'll play more. And if you don't enjoy it, well, the game is free to play. You're just going to uninstall it and you're going to go back to doing whatever you were doing. So I think the balance is good. I think everything they added was pretty good. I have very small criticisms about certain things, like, for example, the way the PvE actually technically works on Legendary. But overall, I had a blast. I had an awesome time. So what's the overall ruling of Season 6 after 1 week? Probably the best season of Overwatch we've had in a very, very long time, and I would say the best season of Overwatch 2 so far. I think there's one last thing that's important to kind of say, just to tack on at the end. It's important to realize where we are is much better than where we were. We're much better where we are than where we were. The key to this game succeeding and for this game to do well is to keep pushing forward and to keep making good decisions and to keep listening to the community and to keep communicating and to keep pushing forward. That's the key to having it be better in the future. Because where we are now isn't perfect, and I don't think we ever will get to perfect. But it doesn't mean you shouldn't try. And even if right now where we are isn't perfect, we're much better than where we once were, and we should continue to keep pushing forward and keep pushing for better things, and I'm not going to change. If I don't like something, I'm going to call it how it is. And if I like something, I'm going to applaud you for it. I'm going to positive reinforcement, try to push you to keep doing more of it. So we might not be in the perfect spot right now, but we're getting there. Things are much better. Give it a shot.
You don't know when to quit.
So what do you think?